you were putting your thumbs down when we were talking about the Rams and this trade with Matthew Stafford. What were your thoughts when you heard this trade? Did you think that the Rams got completely robbed in this trade, or do you think the Lions were that much smarter than of an organization than the Rams were?
Well, if I may say so, right? I'm in Detroit, diehard Lions fan. Like I said, I'm in my mid-30s. All I've known is Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson, and the Lions not making the playoffs and losing. So while I was on hold listening to you guys, the butterfly started going in my stomach here. I knew right away you were from New York. That loud, arguing sports talk radio, that it excites me so much. So I was doing the thumbs down, trying to get your guys' attention because I wanted to hop in with you so bad. So to answer, long-winded way to answer your question, I love the trade for the Lions. Of course, why wouldn't I? What you said was on point. You get rid of a Stafford who was on the wrong side of 30, and you trade him in for Jared Goff. Well, if you've noticed on social media the last week, social media is very toxic to begin with, and then when you get a trade like Stafford and Goff, people will fight to the death. Goff is better here, but Stafford. It's just break it down to a simple context. One guy started in the Super Bowl. The other guy hasn't even won a playoff game. And look, I love Stafford. He's done a whole heck of a lot here for the city. His wife, his kids, they're great people. I wish him the best, but it's time to move on. So you get Jared Goff, who I've always been a fan of. He's been a great fantasy quarterback for me for a few seasons now. Again, he's younger. Would we say, I think I heard you say he's a little bit more mobile, a little bit more athletic, sure. Yes. But people will always point to the bad decisions, or the guy can't run for a first on 3rd and 8. He just can't get over the sticks on 3rd down. But it's okay. Jared Goff is going to be okay. It looks to me, after reading all this for the last few days since the trade broke, Stafford was bummed out. He was upset, didn't want to be here. I think he absolutely hated Matt Patricia. It goes to show you were talking about he did not want to go to the Patriots. He doesn't want anything to do with that fatso. The guy, Patricia, was a horrible person. He put people down, called people, grown men in the locker room. He talked down to them. He looked down on them. So Stafford just wanted to get out of here, change the scenery. He's been in Detroit, 11 years? He wanted to get out. I've been in here for 35 years, and I haven't left yet. But so you get Jared Goff in, fresh face, fresh situation. I'm sure we all saw the graphic or the quote where it said, I'm happy to go somewhere where I'm wanted, where they need me. It's kind of like a bad breakup with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, whatever. So Goff is going to come here to Detroit. He's going to be rosy-eyed and something cheeked, bushy-tailed and wide-eyed. Goff is going to be, and he's going to be okay. And I love the idea of the Detroit Lions. They have a ton. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, guys. The Lions have a ton of positive options here. I can't tell you the last time the Lions had anything positive going on, let alone all these options. And it's fantastic. From draft selections, do they use Goff to bridge the gap for a couple seasons while they, maybe wait to 2023 in the first round to take a quarterback. That way you can load up where you need it the most, and that's defense here in Detroit. You load up this year, you load up next year, and Jared Goff's not going to kill you at quarterback. He's going to be okay. Option number 2, let's say, they decide to draft the kid from BYU, Zach Smith, who I absolutely love.
Zach Wilson.
Trey Lance is a good one, too. Let's say they bring in the kid from BYU. That's all he knows.
Zach Wilson,
played quarterback his whole life. You still have Jared Goff to bridge the gap.
Right.
Like it or not, Goff, as I said, he has major professional football quarterbacking ideals, and he started a Super Bowl, for God's sake. That is invaluable for a young kid like Smith to come in here. Normally the Lions, they would draft a kid in the first round, and then bam, they throw him to the Wolves. He gets killed, and they beat him up, and he's out of town in 2 or 3 years. So I love the idea
like John Kitna.
Yeah, Stafford. See, that's why I think Stafford is such a good man. He's a warrior. He's tough as nails. He could have just folded up camp and said, you know what, I want to split after year 3, 4, and 5. But he gutted it out because he genuinely is a good man. He's tough as nails, and he's a good football player. So to my original point, I would absolutely love if the Lions put off drafting a quarterback. Work on everything else. Quarterback will be the last piece of the puzzle because you have a young guy. Jared Goff, I believe, is what, guys?
26,
27 years
26,
old?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, he's yet to hit his prime. Or I know I keep harping on the Super Bowl thing, but it just proves my point where you're going to be okay at quarterback for at least 2 or 3 years. So in the meantime, build the defense, do what you want. And the idea of this new, the new GM, the new head coach, the offense, all this new coaching staff, it seems to me as it stands now, they have a clear plan in place for the long-term prospects here in Detroit. And that's what's most exciting. So any way you slice it, wait on a quarterback, draft one now, let go, watch over the kid, whatever it is, they're all positive outcomes. And that's why me personally and the city of Detroit is very excited about what the Lions are doing right now.
See, we hit him for a long question there, Speedy. It was about the Lions. He's from Detroit. He's loving it.
You brought up the new head coach, Dan Campbell, who I was questioning the hire because he was a retread coach, interim stint in Miami where everyone loved him. And now he's the Saints tight ends coach. I mean, how much do you really gain from that? So I was a little skeptical of the hire. It seemed like it was kind of a weird hire. The Lions, being how cash-strapped they are, and probably losing a lot on offense this offseason, I was surprised. What do you think of the hire of Dan Campbell? And now with Jared Goff there, how do you think those two will mesh?
Well, again, I've been a Detroiter my whole life, a Lions fan my whole life. So I'm used to disappointment and I'm used to being patient here.
I'm a Jet fan, so I know all about it. So trust me.
100%. Yeah, I feel you. And real quick, before I answer your question, just in terms of social media, anytime I see what's your dream Super Bowl scenario, I always say the Lions versus the Jets because people lose their crap and they freak out. But I really mean that. The Lions and the Jets in the Super Bowl one day would be great. We might be dead and gone. We might be in a wheelchair with blankets over our laps, but hoping I'm seeing you here. In terms of Dan Campbell, to answer your question, I don't know too much about him. I'm still kind of doing my due diligence on Dan, and so I don't want to jump to conclusions or talk about something I don't. That's the easiest way to look stupid and lose respect or whatever it is. But when it comes to Dan Campbell, I don't care about the kneecap comment. I don't care how his presser went. I love what I took out of that instead of people honing in on specific words and saying, this guy's a weirdo, he's a dummy, he's in over his head. Why don't we pull from that his enthusiasm and his excitement to be a head coach for an organization that needs it, that wants to win so bad? You can tell that Dan has a vibe about him where he's going to do anything and everything it takes to make this thing work. And then paired with new GM Brad Holmes, Anthony Lynn at offensive coordinator. I mean, heck, they just grabbed, I think, one of the best strength and conditioning coaches, or it might have been the special teams coordinator out there. So again, Dan and Brad have started to put together a very awesome coaching staff, if I might say so.
As you guys know, we are talking to DFS cheat sheet content contributor Chris DeBacker. Now, Chris, talking about Detroit sports, and we were just talking about football, what are your thoughts with Detroit basketball right now? With everything that's gone on over the last couple of years and, moving players out from Detroit. This is not the same team when Larry Brown was there, obviously, with a new coach, a coach that's been somewhere before. He's gone all the way to the NBA Eastern Conference Championship with the Toronto Raptors. And you talk about Steve Yzerman over there in the NHL side. Steve Yzerman really leaving Tampa Bay. The Lightning win a championship last year with his team and coming over here to a Detroit Red Wings team that has not been good. They really have no future right now. They're trying to rebuild from their farm system. Where are your thoughts on where Detroit sports is going now that we know where football is going? What about basketball and hockey?
Well, that's a great question. I want to say over the years, right? So born in the mid 80s. So I saw some Pistons championships, the bad boys, then the 5-game sweep, as they called it, against the Lakers. And then the Wings, that they were on a run, I believe, of 25 straight years of making the playoffs. They've won, I believe, 3 or 4 Stanley Cups in my lifetime. So I have to say, I mean, I don't live I'm not a Boston sports fan where every year there's a team winning the title, but I'd like to say that I'm blessed and highly favored to be a Detroit sports fan. We have 4 major sports teams here, one from each sport. And I know that if you look back in the history of professional sports, every city, they go through lulls and they go through highs. And then they maybe even the Tigers, they went to a couple World Series. They won the year I was born. And then they went to a couple, they lost to the Giants, but they were consistent with Verlander and Scherzer. They were consistently in, some AL championship games. They went to the series. So it's been exciting here in the last 15 to 20 years as a sports fan. But that was then. And the question you're asking me is now. So as it stands, Detroit sports will be up high on a pedestal again soon. That's just the ebb and flow of professional sports. Coaches leave, players leave, people retire, people die, right? It's just a fact of life here. So the Detroit sports scene will once again be in the forefront sooner rather than later. We've seen it in the history of sports. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah, that Tigers team especially was really talented. They were really just missing those 2 things: position player defense, and their bullpen was terrible at that time. So
awful.
Definitely that ends up being the case. So yeah, so talking about those rebuilds, especially with the Red Wings, because you emphasize hockey a lot. What do you think about a lot of the young players they do have? Like Errol was saying, they've been kind of unlucky with the draft picks in a sense, with the lottery. People were thinking they get the number 1 pick this year with the record that they had. So they've had trouble rebuilding, also stuck with some bad contracts. What do you think some of those future young players are going to be like for the Red Wings, and also maybe some of those other teams? The Tigers have a lot of good pitching prospects right now. You were talking about Detroit Pistons. So what do you see the young player outlook to be? And what do you think of the expectations in a rebuilding type year for both those teams?
Yeah, another phenomenal question. And personally, I'm way into, the young kids in baseball, the prospects. And right now, the Tigers have one of the more bigger and best farms that I've seen in sports. I believe they're in the top 10, might be in the top 5. Don't take me at that, but they have some really talented young arms coming up. And Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, they took first overall. So the Tigers are slowly but surely putting it together. Again, they've been good, they've been bad, and they're working their way up again. In terms of the Red Wings, yeah, I'm upset that you mentioned our lottery pick, because they got screwed hard. They got screwed big time there. Supposed to be first overall, and I don't even think they were in the top 5. I love Anthony Mantha. Kid's a stud, 6'5", loves to fist fight, and he'll score 30 goals in a season if you let him loose here. So I have all the. It's to me right now. It's not so much about what the Wings have in the lower stages of hockey. It's what about what Steve Yzerman can do, and I fully and completely trust Steve Yzerman's long-term outlet. I think he would benefit from bringing in some other ex-players, like what happened to Sergei Fedorov. Why can't you bring him in? Just like Spielman and Barry went to the Lions here. So I fully and ultimately trust Stevie Y and his long-term direction here with the Wings. You didn't ask me, but I'll rank them anyways. I think in order of how fast I think they win, I think it's going to be Tigers, Lions, and Wings in that order. I don't have any years for championships. I'm just saying the way I personally read and see what they have going on, that's how I would rank them.
Who do you got winning the Super Bowl, and who is the MVP of the Super Bowl?
I do firmly believe that Tampa Bay wins the Super Bowl. I think that you can't count out Tom Brady. The guy is, again, what is
I'm starting to hate you now.
Tom Brady's what? He's like 65, 67 years old. He's still playing at such a high level here. Everybody's eyes and everybody under the sun is talking about the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, and rightfully so. That team is awesome. We have the legit start of a dynasty here with Kansas City. But then you throw Tom Brady in there, and all bets are off. We just cannot overlook him. And again, maybe I never, in my writing, in my broadcasting, I try not to be a homer, because then you lose respect. Like, oh, this guy's got some cool stuff, but it's always about Detroit here. But Brady played at Michigan, saw him play live in Ann Arbor several times. And then I've kind of followed his career, and he's fantastic. I do firmly believe that he is the best football player of all time, definitely the quarterback. And for some odd reason, there's just no way I can bet against Tom Brady. So Tom Brady, they win the Super Bowl, his 7th. And let's say Leonard Fournette is the MVP. 80, 90 yards, but he scores twice, one in the air, one on the ground.